So I saw this post from this wife who is also a content creator, a businesswoman, and a career woman working in her corporate career for over the past 10 years. And she is getting a lot of backlash online simply because she said women shouldn't solely just depend on someone to have their life in their hands and not have something for themselves. She's a sole believer that you can create a soft life for yourself and not be a stay-at-home mother. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you guys, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and take on it.
We're going to have a deeper conversation about this at a later time. But all of this stay-at-home girlfriend, stay-at-home wife, soft life, don't work. And I'm not saying that being a stay-at-home mom and stay-at-home wife is not work. I just want to say this trend that we see of women, even with no kids and no husband, wanting to be stay-at-home somethings and depend on a man. It sounds like a scheme that Todd set up. I don't trust it. I don't like it. As a woman in her 30s with a corporate career and a retirement plan. But that's a story for another day. I'm not jumping on a soft life trend. I'm not, because I can have a soft life and still have a career and still have ambition and still have businesses.
And for those of you who are new here, my name is btaylortv, and we are taking a psychological deep dive into this discussion. So I couldn't agree more. I got exactly what she was saying, but I can also see why she is receiving some backlash from a couple of women who disagree. Now, we live in a day and age where a lot of women are trying to break through the patriarchy and reclaim their power and exercise their rights that our ancestors and women before us did not have the opportunity or rights to even do legally. Now, this woman, I know her actually. I went to school with her. We actually had a class together, and she actually had a women's studies class with me. So I'm very well aware of her, and we work together in group projects, and she's a pretty cool girl. So it's just so funny to see her going viral because this is just a very full circle moment, to say the least. Now, I get exactly what she's saying. I've seen too many cases where women who have dedicated their entire life and their purpose to their husbands and children. And I had to come to a reality that that's just some women's purpose. I'm going to have to come to that reality because I cannot force my beliefs system on other women who don't have a desire or vision outside of motherhood and being a wife. Now, if that's a life that a woman has chosen for herself, that's great. But what I would never do is try to promote that is the end goal for every woman and try to make it seem like this is the end goal. Now, even if you are a wife, and I'm saying wife specifically because there is legality tied to you being at home and taking care of this man's children and taking care of the home that he has provided for you and the children and that you live inside. Now, these whole idealistic situations online about, I'm a stay-at-home girlfriend and all these women doing all of these things for their boyfriend who do not have any legal ties are basically giving up their careers to have a soft life. Now, I think there's just a misconception about what is the soft life. When we got into the whole soft life trend, that was well into the panorama, or however you want to say it, after the 2019-2020 era where the whole shutdown happened. And a lot of people realized that they wanted to be at home. They wanted to be at home with their children, their family, and pour into their home, pour into themselves, and have more time to just be creative. That is what the soft life was marketed to be, is having a softer life, not having a routine of having to get up in the morning, fight through traffic, argue with coworkers, being told what to do all the time, basically having your life controlled. A soft life is basically you're in control of what you are doing that day and how you are going to spend that day and how you're going to manage manage your own time without being told how to manage your own time of the day. That is the definition of a softer life. Life is just softer. You know, if you want to go and grab that latte or that matcha, go grab that latte and matcha. If you want to go and do Pilates, you can go do Pilates. It's just a life of women doing what they want to do throughout the day. Unlike if you work in corporate America, you have to clock in at a certain time. You have to get certain tasks done at a certain time. And you have, some responsibilities that you need to complete while you are at the job. You can't just go and get your matcha or go work out or go take a nap whenever you feel like it. And, the soft life is a dream life, because who wouldn't want that? I mean, even if you're not a woman, who wouldn't want to just manage their own time? Because that's the financial freedom that a lot of us aspire to have. My thing is that a lot of women are saying that this is a scam when you solely base your soft life off of another person. When that person is in full control of you having the life that you want, it can be very dangerous, especially when there's no legal repercussions or obligations that person has to take. Now, a lot of these women don't really tell you about the downside of being a stay-at-home girlfriend or depending solely on someone else's income, because that actually strips away your power. Nothing makes me cringe more than hearing a woman say, I don't want to think. I want him to do all the thinking for me. You are sounding out of line, because we were born with a brain. We were born with ideas. We were born with thoughts, aspirations, and goals. And I'm starting to think that some people were born and put here and don't have a vision for themselves, whether it was programming, patriarchy, their home upbringing, or how they were just programmed in their family life, culture, religion. You have all these factors that really debilitate a lot of women's power and the strength and a lot of their visions and aspirations that they have for themselves. And like I said, I am all for women choosing the life that they want to choose for themselves. So I don't knock women who want to stay at home and just be a mother. But those women also have to understand, no matter how many children you pop out, eventually you're not going to be able to pop out anymore. And those children are going to continue to grow up and start their own lives. What do you have for yourself after? Are you planning to be the grandma that takes care of all the grandkids and just dedicate your life to just being a caretaker? And if that is what you aspire to do, then maybe you're not the person that has the actual vision to change certain things in life, but maybe you are the person that help raise the person or help raise the grandchildren or set the tone for them to do something aspirational in life other than caretaking. And caretaking is very, very important. I don't want to make it seem like it's not important. But on the other hand, there are women and men who are put here who have a vision for themselves. They have certain goals and aspirations of how they want their life to be, like opening up a business, opening up a nail salon or a hair salon, running a business, opening up their own school, opening up their own practices, making a mark in this world, creating a book, creating a children's book, pouring back into the community, opening up a nonprofit. And yes, you can also do those things while staying at home, being with the children, and living a soft life. But to make it seem like a soft life is only attainable through a person taking care of you is a scheme.
If your goal was to eat, you cannot complain about having a lot on your plate. A lot of women claimed that they wanted the soft life. You want to be a soft girly. I get it. But most of you do not want to do what it takes to get to that point. When the girls in tech, law, finance, and healthcare got on here and showed you guys what living a soft life looked like, you were so in love. That's exactly the life that you wanted. But I can bet majority of you are not willing to put in the work that it takes to get to that point. Law school, med school, nursing school, grad school. These are not easy tasks, but you go through that hard time so that on the other side, you can have a much easier life. A lot of people want to get into entrepreneurship because they like the idea of not being on anyone else's time, having their own schedule. But the downside of that is you're not on a schedule. You have to decide everything. It is very tedious work. So reevaluate what you really want, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't actually want a soft life. You want to be treated like a baby. Good luck with that.
Because even these content creators who try to sell you this life that they are living the soft life and they are not working, they are actually working. I'll use Shira 7 as an example. Shira 7 is what a lot of women would say is living the soft life. She doesn't have to work. But at the end of the day, she is working. She gets online every morning, does her makeup, and talks to you guys for hours and hours and hours on end. She sells products. She has books. She is working. But is it hard labor? No. Is it physical labor? No. Is it a mental load? Yes, it definitely can be, because content creation is a mental load, believe it or not. You have to be creative on the days that you don't feel like being creative. You have to get online even when you feel like you're creatively burned out and have to go on the whim and still produce. Because if you don't produce, you will eventually get lost in the algorithm, and the algorithm only rewards consistency. Shira 7 has been doing this for a long time, and she's been dedicated to her work and content creation, and it has eventually paid off where she is getting the recognition because she was consistent. But to make it seem like she is not working, she is. She has to make sure that she is keeping up with the algorithm. She is keeping up with her content, and she has dedicated a few hours out of her time and protects her image on top of that. I'm pretty sure she also has duties outside of just content creation, being a mother, being a businesswoman, and being a wife. So she's also creating. So a lot of these women who try to sell you that they're not working, they are working. They're editing their videos. They're on live for hours talking to you guys and coming up with ideas. You don't think that these women have days where they're not feeling well, that they are sick, like I am sick, or they have days where they are creatively burned out but have to push themselves to do it, just like you have to get up in the morning and push yourself to do it. Now, I am a firm believer that, like this content creator in the original post said, she's doing what she loves to do, and she's content creating on top of that. She works a corporate job, not that she hates. She's working a corporate job that she truly loves and passionate about. She gets to travel for free. She gets to get sponsored on trips from her job for free. She gets to meet different people and host different events and learn things about herself as she grows in her career. That's called passion. And that's the difference between working and being a career woman and working in a career. I would say that I'm working in my career because not only do I content create, but I also create and have been creating by writing. I am a journalist and I get to write every day and do what I love to do and got better. I mean, I am not the same writer I was 10 years ago, and to see my growth is beautiful to see. But I think a lot of people are confusing jobs with careers, and climbing into your career and growing into your career is very different than being steady into the same job that you are doing and that you're not loving. That is the biggest difference. We were not just put here just to have other people think for us. Okay, so I want to prompt this question for you guys. If you are married, how has your husband elevated you in your life towards your visions and your goals for yourself? Did he help you get through school? Did he help support you in your career? How did he make your life better, in helping you with your own visions and your goals and your businesses. And like I said, every woman wasn't born to be here to create something substantial for themselves. Sometimes they are just dedicated to just being a caretaker, and that's fine too. But those women also need to respect women who have a vision for themselves to do things outside of just being a wife and a mother. And it's sad because it is patriarchal, because a lot of men push this on women. But the one thing that I noticed about this woman in this video is that she said it herself. Her husband gave her the option to not work. She doesn't have to work. This is a big difference between being 50-50 in a relationship. This is a man who is providing for his family and also letting his wife prosper in what she wants to do in her life. And he appreciates her outside of just being a baby maker and someone to serve him all day. And that's why you also have to just be very careful in who you choose in a partner. If you're talking to a man and all he is saying is what he's looking for a wife to do for him, and in return she will benefit off of his success, you may want to go ahead and question what type of partner you would want to be with. Because if that's not the vision that you have for yourself, then you guys are not aligned. And this is why a lot of relationships end up failing, is because you guys are not equally yoked. That's just my quick take on this. I don't want this video to be too long. I just wanted to give my thoughts. Y'all go ahead and share your thoughts and comments below, and meet me in the comment section to get this discussion started. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.